Okay, let's take a look at significant figures. And sometimes you just simplify it to sig figs. And that's part of GCSE Maths. Okay, so to kind of explain significant figures, I'm going to try to use it with some examples because that's the best way that I find to learn. So hopefully it helps you guys too. So I'll use a whole number and a decimal as an example. And throughout near the end of the video, I'll do some exam style questions. So 0.004031. Significant figures, I found it quite hard to understand myself. And once I did understand it, I just learned it for like a week and then I'd forget it. So it means that I don't really fully understand it, right? So I try to fully understand it. So I'll try to explain it in a way that will actually help you to understand significant figures rather than just like remembering it. Okay. 3476. 3,476. This is the first significant figure. This is the second. This is the third. And this is the fourth. Don't worry if you don't know what I'm talking about right now. I'm just going to explain this first. This is the first significant figure. This is the second. This is the third. And this is the fourth. So these zeros that come in front of these decimal digits, these are not significant figures. These digits here. Likewise, if this had 0, 0, 0 in front of it, which you probably don't need, this would not be significant figures. So, what does this show us? The first significant figure, as you can see from both this and this example, is the first non-zero digit. The first non-zero digit, no matter if it's a decimal, because you might think that these decimal digits, zero digits, are important because they tell you how small the number is, right? So you might think that they're really important. But what it doesn't tell you is what the number actually is itself. It doesn't actually tell you about the value of the number. It tells you the value of the number. It tells you it's like a placeholder zero, right? It tells you how small the number is, but it doesn't help in actually telling you anything about the actual number itself. So it doesn't actually tell you whether the next digit is going to be a 6 or a 7. It just tells you that how small the number is. It doesn't actually tell you about anything specific about the actual number itself. So the first non-zero digit is the first sig fig, the first significant figure. And every number after it, notice in both these examples, including a 0, every number after it, every number after is a significant figure. These are basically the only two rules you really need to know. The first non-zero digit, this is really important. The first non-zero digit is the first significant figure. And every number that comes after the first significant figure, including zeros, are significant figures. Okay, let's try explain this using some examples. We'll use both these numbers that we have over here. So round the number 3,476 to, let's do 2 significant figures. 2 sig fig. Okay. We know that this is the second significant figure, right? Because it's the first, this is the first one because it's the first non-zero digit. And this is every number after it is a significant figure. So this is going to be the second significant figure. So we know it's going to have something to do with this because we're rounding it to 2 significant figures. So it means we're keeping 2 of the significant figures and we're getting rid of all the rest. Well, how do we do that? Well, it's basically rounding now. It's like rounding to 2 decimal places, but we're not really doing decimal places, but look. Second one, and we look at the number that comes right after it, the 7. Remember, anything higher than a 5, 5 or higher, you round up, and up to 4, 4 or lower, you round down. So this 4, we're looking at the next digit that comes after it, the 7. So 7 is definitely higher than 5, right? So it's going to be 3,500. You replace all the remaining digits to zeros. Let's look at the decimal point here. 0.004031 to, let's do 3 sig fig. Remember, all of these are not sig figs, right? They're zeros. The first non-zero digit is the first significant figure. So this is going to be the first one. And everything that comes after it is significant figures. So first one, second one, and this is our third one. Third significant figure is the 3. And we're going to look at the digit that comes right after it, the 1. Well, the 1 is definitely smaller than 4, so it's going to be rounding down, right? So it's going to be 0.00403. You don't write a 0 after it because it doesn't show any value. Here, it's important, right? If we didn't write the zeros, it'd be 35. 35 and 3500 are completely different numbers, right? But we don't need a 0 here because it doesn't really do anything to the number itself. So this number would be 0.00403. Okay, I hope this explains significant figures a bit.